Okay, just wanted to do a quick video on the Game Room Solutions 4-player pedestal that I put together early last week. Shot the folks over an email, and within about minutes, I had some responses back talking about the graphics and what I wanted and things like that. So this is the graphic set that I went with. I was looking for a 4-player control panel, one larger than the a 1-up, and I can kind of compare sizes between a 1-up and the 4-player here. But I wanted something that had a bit more space to be actually be able to play a good 4-player game. So I figured if I was going to do it, I'd mount it up to a 42-inch TV. So pardon the wiring in the back, but I do have it hardwired in through the wall down here. But that's not what this is about. It's really about the panel and the process and kind of what all was involved in this. Game Room Solutions has a pretty rough record online, so I was a little wary. I'll be perfectly honest. Once I sent this over, but I knew I had enough technical know-how to be able to fix some of the problems that may occur. Most of the problems that I seen were some, obviously some artwork damage and things like that. That nothing I can do. I'd have to send it back and kind of stomach the time frame and all that, but. Luckily for me, the packaging actually was really good. I have no rips, no tears, nothing like that. It's really clean, crisp. I wanted the old school Simpsons graphics. It's not blurry. The text is good. The characters and everything, bright and vibrant. The yellow trim is exactly what I asked for. Even the characters on the control deck, like I said, it's not pixelated. Like it was properly sized. You do get to pick out the layout of colors, so of course I went with the Simpsons layout of colors, as well as an additional trackball for things like Simpsons Bowling, Golden Tee, stuff like that. So essentially you can purchase the control panel by itself, and then you can build around that. You could put it into a cabinet, which they offer, or you can put it onto a pedestal. So I wanted the pedestal option, like I said, to give a bit more space for some of maybe the bigger crowd. I have some dust covers coming too to finalize that. But back to what I was saying. I had zero issues with my shipping. Everything came perfectly fine. Control panel came in a separate box that had styrofoam and tons of bubble wrap. All of the joysticks had foam inserts on top, so they weren't going to ever bend or move during that process, so that was great. The rest of the pedestal comes flat, again, properly wrapped, so artwork isn't facing anything hard. It's wrapped, so there isn't a chance of it scratching or anything. The installation process, not too bad. The directions, they're in black and white, so the pictures that you're using can sometimes be a little confusing, but honestly there's not that much involved in it, so it's a cam lock system. For those that aren't familiar with cam locks, think of things like perhaps IKEA furniture, right? It's that one screw that basically you have like here, let me show you the inside. These little guys here. So they go into little pins, and then you twist it, and it locks into place. So that whole system is built pretty much off of that. As far as sturdiness goes, I mean, it's going to have a little bit of a rock to it because of the shape and size, but this base down here does such a good job of kind of keeping it flat. If you get 4 heavy-set dudes on here drinking, it's not going to fall over, but it is going to slide around. So either, get yourself some sandbag weights or anything and put them down the bottom or something like that, whatever you would want to do, or not like me, but if you could secure it to a floor, great. I don't see it necessary. I don't think we're ever going to get that rough with it. So the buttons are nice. They're not upgraded cherry switches or anything like that. They're, because of the LEDs, they're kind of the flat buttons. They still feel fine. These are the same ones that I actually have on the Mortal Kombat cabinet over here. So, there's that. They're not your cherry switch upgraded buttons. So, again, easy to switch out those if that's what you wanted. I wanted the lighting effect, so let me turn off some lights real quick to see. I wanted it to glow. It actually glows along the acrylic. Has a really nice, vibrant pop color. I like it, so good enough for me. Onto the insides. So everything is controlled inside this control panel here. I will say the one thing that I'm not a major fan of, and several people have said it as well, is that this is held on simply by 2 hinges it worries me. I don't keep this open by itself without any support for an extended period of time, especially if you have a child. If a child comes over here and tries to yank on this, it's probably going to go. It is not the most secure thing in the world. So I have a little router tool coming, and I'm probably going to put on 2 more in the ends just to give it a little extra, just in case. You can always do some arms. And pardon the mess on the inside. I just kind of did a little bit of drilling, and I'll explain what that is too. The wiring itself was fine. Still not a huge fan of the kind of twist tie-esque. So basically they spliced the 2 wires together and then used some electrical tape, so I put a zip tie on to keep it secure. Soldering would be the way to go, but it's not a game changer for me. Anywhere where you see a black zip tie, I did come in here and kind of tighten it up a little bit because I am running up the Pi with the fan in there. It is overclocked slightly, so I needed a fan. I'll explain why I overclock as well. You're going to have your generic control boards here. So these are nothing super fancy. The trackball is really nice, and I'll kind of explain that too. So everything that you see down here, minus this USB hub and minus the case it comes with a Raspberry Pi. It is properly mounted up off the floor, so it does have space, but again, I prefer the case. It came with the plug, already has the Raspberry Pi plugged in, gives you 1 extra port for, let's say, LED lights or something like that. I did watch a video too right before I received my unit, and there was a gentleman that had a really good suggestion. Because this board, the whole board is cam locked, it's probably best that you get some L brackets. And I did get some L brackets, and I put them all in, secure them all down in all corners, and that keeps the tops from ever bowing outward. I was also a little worried with that too, because your top pieces, they're just held on by the cam lock system. So all these in here are drilled through the side, and it kind of locks in from the bottom. So if you want to give yourself a little bit of extra support, $7 on Amazon for some L brackets, and you can't go wrong with that. So that's the gist of all of this. It comes with a 128 gigabit Raspberry Pi RetroPie image already on here. The image is actually really good. It runs all the way up to Marvel vs. Capcom 2. However, if you want that game to run smoothly, you will need to overclock. This image comes with an overclocking tool that will allow you to choose from going, the stock 1.5 gigahertz to 1.75, or all the way up to, I believe, 2. I just did it to 1.75, and that kind of gave me exactly what I needed. But you can see, if I go to all games here, 6,352 games, there's enough on here. There isn't a ton of cluttery junk. There is some games that you've never heard of or never decided to play before. But overall, some pretty decent stuff. The arcades, the Daphne's, Dreamcast games, Sega's got, quite a few games in there. But, so just so you can see kind of some of the Dreamcast games. 18-wheeler plays surprisingly well. Marvel vs. SNK 2 plays good. Crazy Taxi 2 also plays well without overclocking, but once I overclocked it, I felt it was even more smooth. NFL Blitz, Quake, some cool stuff. The buttons come pre-configured, so in-game, you can start, go to your menu, add your coins, hit both of them, it takes you back out. All these are your standard, XYR, I believe is how it is, A, B, L, left. Sorry, it's your standard fighting setup. So it does kind of your jab, your strong, your fierce, if you were looking at, let's say, Street Fighter, and then your short, your forward, and your roundhouse. That's how this all comes configured. The trackball, though, so in comparison to, like, my Legends, right? Listen to this. To the trackball here. Especially if you get a good drive-through. I mean, it just sounds good. It actually works really well on Golden Tee. Yeah, honestly, maybe I got lucky with this one. But from the moment I reached out to them to the moment I received this, it was basically 6.5 days, maybe 7 days total. Again, from reach out to design to actually having this in hand, I had zero issues, zero complaints. Will I upgrade the Raspberry Pi image? Most likely to something larger, like a 256. I do have a 512 gigabit solid state drive that I'm trying to now learn how to boot from SD to SSD. I know there's videos online. I just started looking them up last night, so I'd like to move to a bit of a larger image and have some quicker load times. But this has nothing to do with Game Room Solutions and the product that they kind of provided. Every one of the arcades that I have here, well, I shouldn't say every, but most of the arcades that I have here have some type of upgrades to them, whether it was upgraded Sanwa sticks, cherry switches, buttons, marquees, artwork. This here will most likely require a little bit of upgrading from me over time. The joysticks, they feel great. I have zero issues with those. The buttons I might upgrade later on, but I think it does what I need it to do. But overall, super happy. I did end up putting, there's a subwoofer inside here. This is a door that opens up. And then, of course, everything is kind of run from inside the cabinet out up to a sound bar. So the sound on here for me worked out really well. The picture is really good. And then when I'm done with it, I basically take the entire unit and then I store it, and it's out of the way of everything else. So I'm getting for me, a bigger arcade. I don't have the arcade cabinet feeling, but I don't necessarily need it if I've got, arcade cabinets of all varying sizes. But this, to me, kind of made me really happy. So I love the artwork on it. I love the way it looks. I love the way it plays. I'm probably going to risk it again with Game Room Solutions. I think it was good for the money. And I think, I had a pretty quick product. When I ordered my Legends Ultimate, I mean, it was 2.5 months. Half of it came destroyed. I then had a fight with them about stuff. I did end up getting a discount on the machine, but I still have some issues with it in the back. I can't, upgrade everything. So for what I paid for that machine and what I paid for this machine and what they can do, I mean, Game Room Solutions provided to me a better product for that round. I wouldn't say it's as clear cut and dry of an installation as Arcade 1-Up. That's pretty simple, and I think they have that down to almost a science. But I've also had some issues with artwork being destroyed on my 1-Ups and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's my experience. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. I get that some folks had some bad experiences. I apologize. I know nobody from Game Room Solutions. I simply did a Google search on somebody that can produce this product for me, and that's how I found them. And then I was willing to take the gamble. So, I'm hoping any future projects I have with them will come out, the same. I'm definitely looking for a shooter cabinet. I'm actually also trying to figure out how I want to design a Golden Tee version of this, just to have more of the Golden Tee focus games. But to also have like that really nice, cool artwork. So, well, awesome. I hope I answered some of the questions that folks had. I know when I Googled the machine, I was missing some details of what I wanted. So I think I highlighted most of what I was looking for. So hopefully this helps somebody out. Take care.